given all the circumstances that we just discussed, we're going to get into some trade targets that you should look for going into week 4.
Welcome back, ballers. All right, now for our trade targets we're going to talk about today. Me and Joe have this new segment. We thought it'd be a great idea to kind of talk about some players that you could possibly buy low on now or pay asking price for, right? Because these are guys that I think are going to be great in the long run, or they have, they're going to have a really solid season. You can kind of see it early and bits and flurries. So, one of the guys I really like that I wasn't that big on coming into the season is Devontae Adams. So I didn't realize that the Rams are going to be throwing the ball to them that much, right? Because when they had Cooper Kupp or Puka, they were only throwing it to one guy, right? It was either Cooper Kupp, which he was a guy, or it was Puka when Puka came in. So I never thought Matt Stafford can sustain that level of success, but honestly, I think that although Puka is the more productive receiver right now, Devontae Adams has more targets than Puka. So I could see him, being somebody that you could pay right now. Like, obviously, it's not going to be cheap. You're going to pay wide receiver 2 numbers, maybe 3, right, depending on the situation for the guy. But he's definitely somebody I would go after with, 2 flex type players, right? Like, depending on what the person needs, whether that's a quarterback, running back, or a wide receiver, tight end, you come in with a strong offer, you should be able to come in and kind of upgrade at that position.
Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying about asking price. Like right now, you can pay asking price for these players and then really have a lot of upside for the rest of the season. And I think I was not high on Devontae either. I knew he'd be a red zone target, but I didn't think he'd be getting the targets that he's getting. And that's a pleasant surprise. And Puka, he still hasn't scored a touchdown, but he's the number 1 wide receiver in the league. More than enough to go around on the Rams offense.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the first guy I'm going to talk about, it's probably too late to get the value that you would have gotten in week 3. But if there's someone in your league with 3 to 4 solid running backs, I would try to get Trey Benson. I just have a feeling he could finish inside the top 10 for the rest of the season because people have been talking about him for years. We've seen what he can do, and now it's his time to shine for the rest of the season, not just a few games. You're going to get him the rest of the season. He's going to be the workhorse running back over there. And the Cardinals and Seahawks game should be very high scoring this week, so the price could go way up in week 5.
That is a good pick, Joe. I definitely like him a lot too. I don't know about top 10, right? Like, I haven't looked at it that deep, but Trey Benson does have the skills. I think he's a great player. So
I'm just saying it's possible. It's possible.
Oh yeah, I could see him. He's the workload. It was him obviously taking some of James Conner's snaps, but now what? DeMarcado is going to take his snaps. I doubt it. I think they're going to run him out there all 3 downs, like you were saying, right?
That's what I think. Yeah,
his role was the pass catching back, and now that the pass catching back is promoted, who's going to do his job but him? So
that's right.
That makes sense. That's a good call. All right, Joe. Now for my next trade target that I want to talk about, it's a guy by the name of Ted McMillan, wide receiver, Carolina Panthers. He has been looked great in preseason, looked great in practice. He looks good in the game. He's just not getting schemed open that much. You're not giving him as many opportunities. I think with the offense, though, it's eventually going to settle down because they do have a decent O-line. It's eventually going to settle down. Bryce Young is going to start making those throws. And Ted McMillan is a freak of nature. I think he's going to definitely be scoring in, wide receiver 10 range, right, overall. I think he can end up over there, 10 to 15 range. So that's actually pretty good because he's getting you, 15 to 20 points a game at that point. And from what I've been seeing, the reason why I picked 2 wide receivers is because this is one of the first years in a long time that I could say it's a lot less wide receiver talent out there than there typically was. Right, there's a big drop off between talent with the top guys and the next tier guys, and then the middle of the pack guys. So it's slim pickings for sure. So if you get these guys, they're target hogs. They're going to absolutely elevate your team, and you're not going to pay too much for them.
Yeah, you've been high on Ted McMillan all season. I wasn't nearly as high on him, but he is a big, strong player. We were waiting for him to get comfortable in the offense, and he did. I did not expect that game to go that direction. I
Well,
actually,
they didn't have to throw it last game. They just stomped a mud hole in their ass.
yeah, but they look good. And the second guy I'm going to talk about, he's not a trade target, but a waiver ad that I think I kind of like it for the next few weeks, and that's Cade Otton. I think we all remember the dominance he had last October and November when Godwin and Evans were out. And it's possible Godwin plays this week, but he could be limited. And we know Evans is out for a few weeks. So if Godwin misses this week, I mean, I would grab Cade Otton, just put him on your bench. And if Godwin misses this week, I'd be pretty comfortable starting him. And I could see him finishing as the second best pass catcher behind Igbuka. So if you're struggling at tight end, which everybody is, unless you've got, one of the top 3 or 4 guys, I would pick them up and just, see what your options are going into the weekend.